Hello, rest seekers. I am Peggy Norwood Stella here to share a few moves to help us begin to relax and release this tension in the shoulders. This is tension that I know particularly well, and I find that I'm often will find myself bracing and not even know it. And when I say the word bracing, it's that lifting of the shoulders and holding that tension there, it's how the body prepares itself to fight back, that fight or flight response to a stressful situation. So because you're not necessarily having to run away from a saber-toothed tiger or stand up and fight, doesn't mean the body doesn't beautifully prepare you to do that. The problem being is that we are now living in such a way that we're constantly bombarded with threats or perceived threats, and we're constantly bracing ourselves against that. So what we're doing with these gently easy moves is simply raising our level of awareness to the bracing so that we can begin to address it. We may not be able necessarily with these gentle easy moves to prevent it, but certainly to help you address it. Like I realized even last night when I went to bed and I am having trouble falling asleep, and I realized I was bracing. I mean, I do it, and I realized that I had some tension and I was braced and I was ready. And so I did a couple of these things, and it really did help to sort of release that and allow my shoulders to soften a little bit, and so that I could fall asleep. So with this, with shoulder tension, I'm going to give you one quick, easy one that you can do at any time. And it's like an exaggerated shoulder roll. Like, you kind of do this, on your own to sort of release the shoulders. Now, what I'm going to do is exaggerate it a little bit and break it down. So I'm going to begin with all you're doing is just rolling the shoulders forward. So roll them forward, and actually your arms are going to rotate inward when you do this. So there you rotate the arms inward and the shoulders forward. So this is an exaggeration of that roll. From here, bring the shoulders up by your ears. Now this is sort of a horrible feeling position. There's like really a lot of tension in this and doesn't feel great to your body. So we're going to roll back the shoulders. We're going to rotate the arms in the other direction and roll the shoulders back behind you. So now squeezing, almost think of squeezing the elbows behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Good. And there's some tension that's created in the back. And then finally, let the arms rest, let the shoulders rest. See how that feels. So let's review the exaggerated shoulder roll. It's rotate the arms inward and roll the shoulders forward. Then lift the shoulders up to the ears. I mean, really lift them. And now we're going to reverse all of that. Rotate the arms in the opposite direction. So you can bend them if you want to a little bit. And then rotate those arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Imagine you can touch your elbows behind your back, down around your waist. Hold that tension, and then sigh, place the hands down, and feel that little bit of release of tension. So good, there's the exaggerated shoulder roll. Now, another move that you can sort of begin to practice that I think you will find helpful in the long run is to begin to learn how to engage here, to engage in the back and underneath the shoulder. So what we're doing is we're asking the body to strongly engage in the muscle group that actually lowers the shoulders, as opposed to the muscle group that raises the shoulders. And by beginning to strongly engage in that opposite movement, you actually can get some release in the levators and those in the muscles that raise the shoulders up. So instead we're going to be pulling the shoulders down. It may feel a little odd for you, but you can get used to this, and I think you'll find it very helpful. So what I'm going to do is I want to think about, just sitting here, what I want to do is think about, how can I get my shoulders lower? So one way you just bring, just not a lot of tension, but have the elbows down by your side, and then think of driving your shoulders downward by driving your elbows right past your hips. I'm doing this in a seated position. You could do it standing, but we're simply taking those elbows and driving them down beside us. Drive them down, drive them down, drive them down. And you can feel the tension created here, and then let it go. See, feel the space that's created right through here. Another way of practicing this movement is to, if you want, like, you can even just place a hand under elbow here. Now, to push that hand down, we can do it by pressing into the elbow, but do you see what happens with the rest? So a lot of times we are so used to if we want to put tension, right, or onto press down this hand, we're used to doing creating leverage, lifting the shoulder, creating leverage, and pressing down. Instead, what I want you to think about is pressing down into the hand by driving the shoulder blade down behind you. So you're getting that interesting contraction that you're getting under the shoulder, where you are pressing downward as the shoulder blade drives down behind you. Now that may take a little bit of practice. I'm going to do the same thing over here. See, we're used to driving down with the elbow by pressing forward, and the shoulder begins to rotate up and forward. Instead, I want you to think of the shoulder blade going in the opposite direction, and you can it won't get as much tension, but you can, if I turn this way, whoops, sorry. If you can drive it down, drive it down, drive it down. Let me see if I can, here. Drive it down, drive it down, drive it down. So it's just getting the shoulder moving downward, moving downward, moving downward. Don't overdo it. Just do it a few times and feel the openness that you can create through the shoulders, already feeling the bracing beginning to release a little bit. So for today's gentle, easy moves, one, you can do sort of like an instantaneous release. That's that exaggerated shoulder roll. And for the other, it's that retraining of getting the shoulders down. Often I hear that, like, if fitness instructors will say, shoulders down, and we really, it doesn't compute with how to do that. You go, okay, I must have my shoulders up, but you try to get them down, and you might actually still be exaggerating that motion. So instead, we're going to learn to engage in your back in order to release the shoulders. Does that make sense? It's pretty simple. If you have any questions about it, ask, please ask in the comments. Try it out on your own, and if you're feeling any particular challenges, then just let me know, and we will figure out how it's going to work best for you. That's quite often that's what I find. What happens with these gentle, easy moves, somebody goes, I tried it, and this is what I felt. Should I try, what else can I do? Or it wasn't comfortable. If something becomes painful to you, that is a sign. Don't go in that that way, right? Don't go there. This should feel that maybe feels a little uncomfortable at times to do these moves because they're so counter to what you may be doing. We don't overdo them at all, but it's just enough to make a suggestion to the body that it can engage in one area and release the other. And that's all that it's doing. This is these gentle, easy moves are working with the body in the kindest, easiest way possible so that you and your body get to have this conversation. And if you need a little help on the side, a little interpretation of what might be going on or what you can try, please ask me. That's why I call myself a body advocate, because I can speak up often on behalf of the body saying, oh, if it's saying this, perhaps this is what it's trying to tell you. Might be what's going on, and we can try different approaches. There are so many different ways. There's so many different ways to approach the body, so many different ways to move the body, and there is no one exact formula. That's how you just try these things out. See what works, see what feels good for you, and if it doesn't work, you can let that go, okay? Because there's other ways to do it. Some people find you can move your feet a certain way and get some release in the shoulders. So today we went directly to the shoulders, working on engaging in the back instead of through the neck and shoulders. Engage in the back. Just remember, you can even do like this kind of power move, like a power move here. You can see power and just, ooh, down it goes, down it goes. Engage in the back. See what you think. Okay? I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Leave comments in the section below, and I will hopefully see you again next week for some gentle, easy moves.